என்னடா யோசிக்கிற? There is nothing to think so much மச்சான். தைரியமா போ. ட்ரஸ்டபிள்ரா. 3 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன பார்த்துருக்கல, இப்போ நான் பார்க்குறல்ல. How confident I am because I have taken a right decision. நான் கொடுத்த அட்ரஸ் போய் விசிட் பண்ணு. You will have a personal care from them.
எல்லா பேஷண்ட்ஸுக்கும் பர்சனல் கேர் தராங்க. 30 years of proven medical records. All eye care treatment under one roof. அதான் ஆர்கே ஐ சென்டரோட ஸ்பெஷாலிட்டி.
My dear children of God, it's my pleasure to be with you all once again in this episode of Divine Truth Ministries and how to please our Lord in the talents what He had given to us. There's a purpose in life and God has sent us here onto earth to develop our skills and lead a life that would be pleasing in His eyes so that ultimately in eternity He can use us for His glory. For the past couple of weeks I have been sharing on how God was helping me in my professional life to diversify into various fields of specialization so that from a mere water treatment activity in my company, we could explore the possibility of diversifying into various other areas. I joined this organization in the year 1980 and within 5 years God was kind enough to get me promoted from assistant manager level directly to general manager level because of what I was achieving and what they thought I could achieve in future. And I also shared how I went and booked several orders of several specialization. It was all looking rosy. But what the struggles I might have gone through, difficulties I have faced, I am planning to share in this week's episode. Before I go further onto how I went into an entrepreneurship by starting a company of my own. Once when you get elevated from assistant manager to general manager straight away overlooking so many of your seniors don't accept it. Management had confidence on you, but getting the work done from your deputies is not going to be that easy. They were all senior to me by age, by experience in water treatment. Suddenly I am their boss. So it was not very easy for them to accept and very easy for me to get the job done through them. A lot of envy will be there, jealousy will be there, unpleasantness, unhappiness. I had to face all these things. Added to that, as I shared in the last week, in the 8th year of my joining, that is in 1998, my MD passed away in a tragic car accident in which I should have travelled with him. That left a bigger vacuum in the top. Till then, he used to handle finances and I used to handle technical things. Those last 3 years when I was a general manager and he was the managing director. But once when he passed away, as I was sharing with you, management gave me a way of handling both technical and commercial. In those days there were no computer, it was just starting, so I was asked to put the cost on the left of a register and execution cost on the right and ensure that execution cost is at least 20 to 30% less than what I book, so that company is sure of getting their profit. And also they said that they will not plow much money. I am supposed to collect money from my client and pay to the suppliers as well as contractors, and without taking much money from the company I should execute that project. With all these challenges I was learning more and more on cash flow, which helped me later to start my own company. But year on year, especially during the New Year time, I used to be really tense because I was supposed to indicate the target for the subsequent year, and it used to be a challenge because we were getting from new activities, how am I going to develop. So, New Year used to be a year more than happiness, it used to be a tough time because I have to commit and I should have completed my task or a target for the previous year. God was kind, year on year I was increasing, that was a different thing. And other challenges what I was facing, I wanted to share, especially for those who want to become entrepreneurs. It is God who is going to guide us, that is for one thing sure. But when we go for new activities, when we engage consultants, they all will be freelance consultants. Many seasoned consultants won't be available as freelancers. They would be employed elsewhere, and freelance consultants will be few in number. It will be a difficult task to locate them. Though we advertise in the paper, quality consultants at times would be difficult to get in that particular field. And even if you get it, the priority could be to so many other clients of them. In that, if you have to get your job done, it will be an issue. Same thing with contractors, erection contractors. As I was sharing with you earlier, I was relying on contractors from outside. I didn't want to expand too much into erection contract areas. So, I used to have these contractors who were expected to bring their own tools and tackles with their own manpower. They were supposed to execute the jobs what I get. Specialist contractors, especially in high pressure piping, tankages and all, if they are in-house workmen, you have a control. But once when you depend on outside contractors, well, if everything goes through well, by the grace of God, you can complete the project. But if they don't perform well, your client will pull you up and you may not have real flexibility to have your own staff to come and do the job. You have to go to another contractor, and once when you go to the second contractor, he can exploit you, and there is no guarantee that the second contractor will be better than the first contractor. So, these are all the other areas I had faced when we were going for newer and newer fields, because these are all the fields we were entering for the first time: gas cleaning, tankage construction, piping, firefighting. All these things were not our cup of tea to start with, because we were basically water treatment company. These are all the challenges we were facing as we were entering into newer and newer. And when my own staff were feeling jealous and were not happy about my being on top of them, but they were accepting it because by the grace of God, I was getting and booking several high value orders which were not done earlier. So, sort of they were accepting me as their boss. In order to make a unity and a unity of spirit, especially when we used to get an order for a value above 1 crore, I used to request management to consider giving some good compliments to, not compliments, some prizes to our own staff. I started off with a rice cooker, electric rice cooker. We were buying a stainless steel flask. Only when we get a job, in those days 1 crore was a very big money. When it was more than 1 crore, staff will get almost we had around 30 to 40 staff. All of us we will get, and I will go and request management to consider. And management was very kind enough and graceful enough to consider that, because they were getting money and we were sharing, and by this I was getting some sort of a support from these people. After all, I am sharing the profit with them. I was a Robin Hood sort of a thing. Then supervisors, especially we went for high pressure piping, getting supervisors for that type of activity who knew their job was again a challenge. Some people were there, but if they don't know the job, then the damages were heavy, especially when you have some stubs to be welded for instruments to be mounted. If they don't know the requirements, after doing everything, when we are about to do the installation, we will find that stub length wouldn't have been sufficient. And as a general manager, I couldn't have gone so deep into that. And also I myself, it will be a new field to me. So these are all the other challenges we were facing in getting into new areas of specialization. Commissioning surprises. This is another area where we were facing a lot of surprises, because for the first time we will be commissioning. If you had been specializing only in one area and job after job, if you are going to do the same thing, then you would have perfected the erection commissioning. But as I was sharing with you, we were entering into so many new areas, and in these new areas, as expected, at the time of commissioning, you may be facing a lot of surprises which you wouldn't have anticipated earlier. So these surprises, you had to solve it as you go on. These were other challenges in entering into new fields. You had to invent a wheel every time. It was not that you learnt from the earlier job. Most of the jobs will be new, and job after job you will be finding how to solve new problems. Another thing is cash flow, because management said that you collect the money, you give it to the suppliers and the erection contractors, don't expect much money from us. That way they were safeguarding the money, understandable. But at the same time, some clients will get into their own cash flow problems. Their banks won't have released their loans. They may be having their own issues in raising funds. In such cases, even when we supply our material, they may not be able to release funds for us to pay to our contractors. Cash flow crunches. These were other areas where we were facing problems. It was not that easy. Of course, this problem will happen in any other projects also, not necessary that it should be only in new special jobs. But here, these are all the challenges and the problems that one may have to face when you go into projects. And the nightmare would be when the project gets shelved. Client with this great planning and enthusiasm would have gone for some projects, huge projects. It had happened in our case. But once in halfway through implementation, for some various reasons, technical reasons, commercial reasons, policy decisions, suddenly they may shelve, and whatever you have fabricated till then, they will not lift it. Consultant will not come for inspection to clear it for dispatch. Luckily, when we took a 2.5 crore project, even before when we were about to start fabricating, we realized that the contractors who took the order earlier for other jobs, they were not getting paid. So we applied brake at the right time and escaped. So my dear children of God, it may be looking easy to see outside, but unless God's graceful hand is upon us, we cannot complete this project. And having completed, I am just sharing what I went through. We will see as we go through the subsequent weeks how one can enter into business. Thank you.
Appointment வாங்கிட்டல?
வாங்கிட்டேன்க்கா.
Hey, why are you getting nervous? Last month பிரியா குட்டியோட அங்க தான் விசிட் பண்ணேனா. எக்கனாமிக்கல்டா. இன்சூரன்ஸ் கூட கிளைம் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Premature babiesல இருந்து old age people வரைக்கும் விசிட் பண்ற ஒரு இடம்.
எல்லா பேஷண்ட்ஸுக்கும் பர்சனல் கேர் தராங்க. 30 years of proven medical records. ஆர்கே ஐ சென்டர் டி நகரில் இருக்கிறதுனால accessible to all places.
Youngsters, you guys must take the right decision at the right time with the right people.